So afraid of the fall, trying to get it over with. Was there even a fall, or did I just create it? Cause yes, I got high and I calmed down her, but it didn't kill me like I thought it would. Feeling good is overrated. Wouldn't last very long, time just wouldn't have it. Right in one place, but the tag had me scratching. Oh, to send it all back with a receipt. Happiness feels like deceit. I guess I'll eat alone out of habit. And maybe even all of that wouldn't even be the problem. You could be my escape, and together we could solve them. But if you raise your voice at me, I'd raise mine too. I'd hit the floor and be so blue. Or I could choose to leave before I cause them. Happy things ain't good for writing songs these days. But a day without you fills up my entire page. Maybe more than one, more than two. It's only been a day, what else to do but write about the very thing that started. No, 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 no. Maybe even all of that wouldn't even be the problem. You could be my escape, and together we could solve them. But if you raise your voice at me, I'd raise mine too. Hit the floor and be so blue. Or I could choose to leave before I caused harm. Oh. But if you raise your voice at me, I'd raise mine too. To say something good becomes so cool. Or I could choose to leave.
You did it again. I got cold chills again. The first time I saw Hannah, she gave me cold chills, and I was just like, I have to have her on the bus. So I just walked up and was like, here's my sticker. So this is Hannah Murphy.
Hello.
How long have you been playing, Hannah?
So I picked up a guitar when I was 13,
Mm-hmm.
and I started performing probably about 6 months after that.
Wow. So you just instantly knew that was your thing.
Well, yes, definitely. I had tried everything as a kid, every sport, every anything, and I even danced for like 10 years.
Wow.
And it just never was quite suited me, but like I picked up the guitar on my own, just taught myself one summer, and I had a lot of time and a lot of feelings.
I can definitely say that it is definitely your thing. When I've explained you to anybody, like I got so excited, like when we started talking, like, yeah, you're gonna do this. I was like, listen, this girl has stage presence. She can play guitar. She's very comfortable. She can talk. She can write songs and tell you about her songs with no hang-ups. And she can sing. Like, you have no idea how excited I was to have you.
I was so honored to be asked because starting that young, I've talked about it and I sing about it a lot, but, parents are only human, but I do wish my mother had been a bit more vigilant about some of the situations I was put in when I was really young.
I understand that.
Because I wasn't performing at open mics doing songwriter stuff. I was out
you were
gigging
doing the thing
by myself in bars.
You were doing the thing
until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Mom pulled me out of school.
Yeah.
Like I was so 100% music for a long time. So I just, my songwriting kind of tells this like
it does. That's where that comes from. It's because you're genuine.
Well, it's very roll the rock up the hill and then to have it get knocked down a lot. Like I went through a lot of phases with performing, and so I'm really proud with where I am now.
You should be.
But it's hard to get that momentum back.
Yeah,
when
I get it.
You just don't have.
I get
who
it.
has the energy they had when they were 14? Nobody.
Right. Yeah, no, I say a song, but it's words, but it's called Sixth Grade Smile, and it talks about like how, you know, one day you're jumping on a trampoline and you've got, you know, Bon Jovi or whoever on your wall, and then the next day everything in your life has changed.
Yeah.
And so you don't have that
so
you don't have
relatable.
that same innocent smile anymore because you have changed. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Like, don't like but it's and I say it all the time whenever somebody has their genuine smile on their face. I was like, "Oh, that's your sixth grade smile." So I guess.
And there's some Arrested Development,
Mhm.
but I've learned to really cherish those parts of myself that
Yes.
can still be a kid.
Yes.
Because when you have to grow up really fast, you'll definitely swim upstream to get back to some younger bits. So all that to say, I'm really excited to be asked to do things like this,
Yeah.
and I love this type of thing that you
Yeah.
facilitated for artists to come and hang out on your bus.
Just want to use music for a little bit.
So this next song you did not hear me play at Mad
Okay.
Life. It's called
Okay.
Old Medicine.
You're gonna make me cry.
So Old Medicine, it's a really important song to me. I wrote it probably about 2 years ago and then rewrote it somewhat.
Yeah.
But Old Medicine to me is music.
Yes.
And this song, so talking about how music saves you,
Okay.
I mean, this, to me, this song is very much about, like, I've tried everything. I've been on meds, you know, it's
That's why
nothing gives me, like, that freedom to just completely be myself and love myself the
Mhm.
same way that, like, writing music does.
Yes.
And it's, like, even though I always felt this, like, or for the last few years, I felt very, like, far away from music. Every time I would even start stepping back to it, I would feel this, like, yeah.
It's like you're having to go through a thickness or something. Like
Yeah.
the air's too thick to get through.
But as soon as you start walking,
as soon as
the hardest part is starting.
all you gotta do is start, and that's the hardest part.
And then all of a sudden it's just, like, love and self-acceptance and a lot more compassion.
You know, that's anything in life. Like, that's one of our quotes. We say, like, if you're like, man, I need to exercise, or man, I need to, you know, like, all you gotta do is get up and walk outside.
Yeah.
If you're depressed,
That's the hardest
just
part.
get up and walk
That's
outside.
the
But
hardest part.
standing up is the hardest part. But man, if you can just do that, then it's all good after that.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited. This song will, we're recording it right now, and it will have, like, a full band. It's definitely like a swing. It's got a swing to it. It's
cool.
fun. It's a
I
little
can't
jazzy,
wait. I can't
so.
wait.
Anyways,
And in a minute, you can tell people where they can find your music and stuff. But
Yeah.
give us this one.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, medicine, you could burn it and fix me yet again. When this whole world is hurting me, and the river of my grief overflows with all my sin. A different kind of spin. The way you move and make me try again. The way you reach down in my soul after nightmares take their toll and threaten all I built within. I tried the booze, they gave me pills to try to kill what made me feel. I'm super excited about that
I
one.
love it. I love
It's
it.
got
Like, I love the whole little acoustic groove, but I can't wait to hear the whole full thing, too, because, like, you had me just,
Yeah, I love that
yeah,
song.
you feel that one. You feel that one.
I'm just so proud of how far it's come to, you know,
should
like
be.
where you start, where you know
Should
where
be.
it started and
Yeah.
what it's become.
Yeah. One of my best kids, and I say, but you can be 50 and you can be older than me and still be my best kid, but he's late 20s, I think. But he said something about, like, when somebody says, like, you're very talented, and he said, that's great, and I appreciate people telling me that, like, I don't, like, thank you so much, but it's not just, there is a gift involved, but there's work. There is work involved, and he plays, like, so much time, like, every single day. He plays banjo and guitar, and
Wow.
and like, but it's true. Like, you're not gonna be good at anything if you just kind of, like, park it. You know, you gotta be active with it.
Yep, and that's honestly a part of the work that I've had to go through. Is like there was a time period where I had to park it. Like it was it was best within my health.
Yes.
It's best for me to park it, but like
Seasons.
the fear of like going back to it and knowing that like I was gonna have to work to catch up.
Yeah.
That was really hard to overcome.
Yeah.
But I did, and it has just been so rewarding. It always is rewarding.
It is.
Even when you start lower than you know, at a different level than you thought you would, still just like practicing writing your thoughts down on paper. I mean, that's why we do it. It's like a journal.
That's the part that is good for me. But and you may have the same thing. Like, there's been like 3 times in my life that one time I totally lost my voice. I had to fight to get it back, and I'm saying, like, literally and figuratively. Like, I could not make myself sing. It would not come out of me, and there was just a lot of pain involved in my life right there. And then there was another time that was about to happen, and I recognized it. And that's when my husband died. And I was like, I'm not going to regular therapy. I'm going to vocal lessons. And I researched, and this lady was really good at, like, using it as therapy.
Yeah.
And that saved me. So that music saved me. And then this past week, like, I had some ups and downs, some real downs with my mom. Like, it's gonna happen. But it was just like the emotional roller coaster of it. I was like, I gotta go find me. Yeah. I gotta take a minute to go find me again.
And I love how it doesn't matter how old you are, but like, it doesn't matter what age you're at. When you run to it, it's just there for you to take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I taught myself how to play, I'd always grown up in just this weird, like, emotionally unstable environment, but music was always something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But instability was just like a constant for me,
yes.
and I also became the equalizer in all those. I didn't even consciously do it, but you know, I became the thing that people looked at and were like, "Wow, she's doing really, really well considering everything."
And
I was like,
"No,
just
I'm not. Give it to me. Just I'm a little broken, but I'm still gonna do this thing."
But I picked up the guitar. It's like Mom and I were so broke. We didn't have cable. We didn't have internet. I just had this, you know, horrible thing that had happened in our lives, but music was like my complete escape. Picking up this guitar and learning
and
that
bless you for picking it up.
It came with a lot of weight, but while lifting it, like, replaced the weight I didn't want with weight I needed.
Ooh,
yeah.
Girl, you're profound.
I felt so heavy, but so, like, taking it on, like, switched it out.
I understand
for
that.
me.
I understand.
And so it's not that, like, performing my songs and being super vulnerable isn't heavy, or that it doesn't weigh really heavy on me, but it's almost like writing about it took it from a part of my brain that made it really sad and moved it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that I could just look at it objectively as opposed to just, like, drowning in it.
I call it a release, and it's like your release may be writing, your release may be singing, your release may be kickboxing,
but that's
it may
definitely
be art,
the way it
but
is.
it has to be something physical. Like, it has to be a movement.
It feels like relieving pressure from the pressure cooker.
It does.
Like, I've been cooking for a long time. Now it's time to. Yeah, that's literally what I think.
Yeah. Is that Instapot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, these songs, like at Mad Life, when you saw me perform, it's not that I will think about why I wrote those songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think back to the events that caused me to write
Mm-hmm.
what I wrote. And like I said, looking at it objectively makes me a passionate performer, but it's not me drowning.
But you don't hold on to the negativity.
Because there's nothing like going to a dark place for a little bit only to come out to people like just...
Oh yeah, because there is a line there. There is
Yeah.
a line, and that's like with a lot of musicians, they'll just go in this little hole, like my husband, like just went in this little hole and refused to bring himself back out. So good for you for being as young as you are and knowing that.
I mean, I have horrible stage anxiety. I always have.
Really?
Because I was so young and
Really?
unprepared.
It doesn't show at all.
I mean, up until I was probably 23, so about 2 years ago, I would throw up for every single...
It doesn't show at all.
Because when I start,
Yeah, like I just
it
said,
all just
it melts.
melts away. It's almost like going to
I
sleep.
knew I loved you.
It's almost like going
It
to sleep.
is. You're just checking out.
And sometimes I get lost in the song. Sometimes I'm like, did I already sing that verse? Like, I mean,
That's normal.
I
And
really get into it.
Can I just say this is like a little off here, but okay, so I saw her at a singer-songwriter in the round. She's sitting next to another girl who was very talented in her own right, but it kind of drug out a little bit longer, so it was like, y'all can do one more song. So the other girl had to pull up the lyrics on her phone. This girl right here.
I made sure she could see her lyrics the
She
whole
kept
time.
tapping her phone next to her just to help her out.
Because I'd been there. I mean, she was 15.
She's
And I saw so much of me and her. I mean, she was
that's what I said. I said, this is her and this is her a
Oh.
little bit later. So,
Yeah.
like...
I mean, it was just really...
But it was a beautiful moment between you two.
I was so happy to get to sit next to her.
It was beautiful
and to
between
see
you two.
her...
And I'm sitting over there going,
Yeah,
Aw.
it was exciting for me to see her, like, be so passionate about it in the moment.
because you were like,
Well, also it's just such a beautiful thing to see, and I had never gotten to see it from the outside that way.
wow.
Like like I said, being that young, it definitely weighed heavy on my shoulders. Like, I was a performer. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I didn't want to mess up in front of my
Mhm.
friends.
Yeah.
I was constantly like, I think I'm bad. I think people are just lying to me.
Oh,
And-
I can't lie.
And then
It's not in me.
But when I would sing, it would go away for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then it would come back. And so for me to get to see someone else young who probably has those
Those same feelings.
thoughts,
Yep.
if not
Yep.
now, at some
Yep.
point when she started, I'm sure
Yep.
there's someone who's come along and hurt her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
To get to, like, sit so close to somebody, like, so amazing and so young and so full of passion for it. Yeah, I was going to make sure she could read her
Yeah.
lyrics.
That was beautiful.
Because it happened to me before.
Yeah.
Well, so those first two songs were kind of on the newer scale, but
Okay.
the bar song
Mm-hmm.
is it came out of me really randomly. Like, I still don't feel like I wrote it.
Is that one of those that you couldn't keep up with your pen?
Well, it was after I wrote it, I was like,
Was that me?
was that me? And
Did
and
somebody
my,
just channel me?
and my
Wait.
mom said the same thing. She was like, did you just write that? That's crazy.
That's cool.
But I wrote it the night before my first songwriter competition.
Okay.
So up until I moved to Marietta in 2014, I had never done a songwriting competition. I had only done cover gigs and just wrote as
Right.
much as I could.
Right.
So it was like totally new for me. And I went up against some amazing artists. And yeah, I just didn't feel like I had anything in the catalog good enough, so I wrote that like the night before. And
Yeah, you did. Where was this at?
Suburban Tap
Okay.
in Marietta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you mentioned before that you did a competition?
Yeah, so later on down the road, when I was about 19 or 20,
Mhm.
I finally competed in Eddie's Addicts biennial shootout. And this was at a time where I was 19 and 20 hit me like a brick. It was really hard for me. I was the most depressed I've ever been. It was like everything that I'd pushed down and put a smile on for so
Mhm.
that I didn't have to deal with it all of a sudden.
Competition smile.
All of a sudden just reared its ugly head,
Mhm.
and music was at the center of all of it, and I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
I felt
Mhm.
scared to touch it. I didn't want to be perceived. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. I wanted to be quiet, and I wanted to just ignore it completely. But for whatever reason, I had signed up like months prior, and they called me up, and I did the prelim, and I won that, and that was just like,
What? Well, you know what's crazy is confirmation for me when I knew. Like when you opened your mouth, I knew. Like I got to get her. But confirmation for me was way back in the day. My husband's band did that same thing and came in second place. So that was like, wait, what? There's these little. I'm a little strange because I'll hear like little like see like a certain time or a certain like a message or whatever, I'm like,
Oh, I'm the same way. I believe in signs.
yes. Yeah. And he does. He talks
I
to
need
me
a
all
little. I need a little guidance.
Yeah, he talks
Yeah.
to me all the time.
But like maybe like a year later, so they didn't actually invite me back to compete in the finals, the one immediately after the one-on-one, but the next one.
The next one.
So I'd kind of forgotten it, and once again, like I'm still really rolling that ball up that hill and having it come back down all this time. So I really felt so disengaged. I didn't feel like I needed to be there. I felt like I hadn't earned my right to be there, and then I went and I won the whole thing.
And what if you didn't go?
Oh my gosh!
Like, what if you didn't go? What if you're like, no, I just don't feel good today?
It was the wildest. It was the wildest experience of my life. I just, all of a sudden, I was getting to be a kid again. It was really strange.
Love it.
I remember being so nervous. Like I was sick to my stomach, and then by the end of the night, I was running around barefoot.
Oh, we'll be at open mic. We've got everybody running around open mic barefoot. Matt started we're just.
But I was running around barefoot at Eddie's attic. This you know, I felt so nervous about how I was going to impress these people, and then to win
just
it.
you.
Just felt so.
I think I love whenever I walk up and I see somebody on stage without shoes. I'm like, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I am here for it.
I took the heels off. I let it all hang out, and I still feel like I was a little underdeveloped as a performer at that point. But
you had something.
But I just
something.
turned all that off and just did what I needed to do. And
so many people would do that in everything in life. Life would be so much easier.
It felt like complete flow. It was really beautiful, and then I kind of climbed up the ladder a little bit.
I love it.
The life is all full of all that.
Is.
But anyways, bar song I wrote 10 years ago.
Wow. All right, get it, girl.
Staying up late, listening to the pitter-patter of all the rain on my window, till I bundled up with my guitar and I wrote some rhymes about this bar I dreamed of playing in when I got older, playing for the Bible thumper who broke the vow we took, the call girl with those fishnet stockings ripped from all her hooks, breathing in the smoke of souls who lied and were afraid, hoping they might find some clarity in the music that I played. Now when I close my eyes, I can nearly feel those blue lights that help me read the words I'm singing now. So when I loaded up my cheap guitar and I drove away from that smoky bar, turned around and I waved my friends goodbye, playing for the Bible thumper who broke the vows he could, to the call girl with those pretty kids who sang her wish she would, breathing in the smoke of souls who lied and were afraid, hoping they might find some clarity in the music that I play. And the pride I felt when I kept on singing after the tender young last call, I would have rather played in that old smoky bar than I played anywhere at all. And I like fresh air as much as anyone there. I guess I just felt safe, wrapped up in all the smoke and surrounded by the tortured souls that hollered and I played. 'Cause I love playing for the Bible thumper who lost his way, and the call girl who had to at school that day, breathing in the smoke of souls who lied and were afraid. They were afraid, and they rambled about the clarity my music gave away. When they rambled about the clarity my music gave away. I was staying up late, listening to the pitter patter of all the rain on my window. I dreamed of playing when I got older. It's one of my oldest songs. I still mess it up all the time.
Oh, nobody would know. Nobody would know. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, so that song,
Felt it.
that song is literally like, if I were to write about all the people that I met when I started performing in bars, it's like, obviously I shouldn't have been there. I should, and I say should not.
I understand.
You know, very nuanced situation,
Yeah.
but you know, I was still meeting people from all walks of life who had more in common with me really than even the kids I was going to school with at the time.
Yeah. You're very old soul.
Like I
You're very
felt,
old soul.
I felt more connected to
Yes.
adults who were struggling
Yes.
than to kids that
Yes.
that I knew.
Because kids are just like, oh, it's like, oh, like, I didn't get to go to the mall. And you're like, there's real things going on in life.
Yeah, and so I felt this like huge sense of compassion towards them too. Like it was almost like an ode to them about, you know, how inspiring they were and how like they were my first encouragers.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were
It's
my
like,
sometimes they were my parents.
I felt it. Like, I felt what you feel while you were playing that. So,
Which is all I could
You're
ever
doing
want.
your job.
Thank
Like, you are doing your job as a musician. Good job.
But yeah, I know it.
Beautiful.
Aw.
I'm good. I promise I'm good.
Yeah, it's been. I'm in the process of recording, which is a really big deal for me. I think for a long time it felt like this hurdle that I was never going to be able to face. I had a really hard time working with other musicians, especially musicians who, you know,
It's like a marriage.
It's
When you're working with other musicians, if there's 5 of you in the band, you're married to all 5 of them. Like, it's...
well, even just doing the open mics, it's like every musician, but especially young female musicians,
Mhm.
every female musician knows the feeling of when a man will come up to you and be like, yeah, this really great recording studio locked in my basement. You should come and see
yeah.
sometime. It's like, you know how old I am. You should probably
Yeah,
be
my
talking to
youngest
me.
daughter modeled some when she was a teenager, and it was...
But like, I think what caused like me to step away was really like my inability to pretend like I wanted anything to do with anybody anymore.
And you shouldn't have to.
I shouldn't have to, but like when you're performing and
There's a line.
and then people are like, oh my god, that sounds so good. I would love to work with you and record with you. And it's like in my head, I want to run away and cry. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, let me get your contact information. And then it'll never happen.
Yeah.
But it became really exhausting.
I'm
for
sure.
me.
I'm sure. Because, like, you have to figure out, like... And I just started praying for discernment because I thought, everybody's good. Like, everybody's good. And, like, I'm just... No, they're not. They are not.
I learned that lesson about as young as I could have
I'm
learned it.
51 years old. I just got it because I was just like, oh, hi. Like, no, there are bad people. And they're all going to come suck out my energy that I could be giving to
Yes.
really good, genuine people. So I don't have to give my time to everybody.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, just a testament to like where I was and where I am now. I mean, I'm recording my album. Like,
I know.
happening.
So tell people about like where they can find you. What's up with you right now? Give your little spiel.
Yeah. So social media spiel. Instagram's probably where I post the most updates in terms of like shows and videos and clips and whatnot. And you can find me on the Hannah Murphy with an underscore because the one without an underscore was taken. Makes me feel very like it's very cringy to be like, yeah, you can find me on Instagram. Yeah, it's the Hannah Murphy with an underscore at the end. music-wise, I have some old stuff up on SoundCloud. So, if you want to go and see,
Go
like,
deep
where
dive?
I was and where I am now,
Okay.
you can find that stuff on SoundCloud. There's a link on my Instagram page. But the album will be, like, distributed on, like, Spotify and Apple Music. It's not up yet.
Y'all are working on it, though.
But
Y'all are
we're working on it, and I should have some singles drop before the end of the year. And
Awesome.
I mean, just to be able to say that is
Yeah, and anytime you want me to share, like, I know you have your own following and, like, but anytime you want me to share anything, just
Please.
send me, like, hey, go share this for me.
I-
Because I do, even, like some of musicians that have been on the bus, my bus kids, they'll be like, they're playing in a different time. I'm like, y'all go hang, go listen to Andy, or go,
Well, even the recording thing, like, I need friends. I've learned that, like, I'm not gonna make it if I try to do it alone.
Nope, and you need to find your people.
Well, and even the recording that I'm doing right now, it's a really good friend, and I'm always asking him, like, why are you helping me do this? And he's like,
Oh, he
"Because-"
believes in you.
because-
I wound
yeah.
up accidentally, I met him before I met you, because we wound up sitting at the same table, and he believes
Because he
in you.
believes in me.
He
and
really
that
believes
is,
in you.
I kind of have a knee-jerk reaction to things like that,
It's
and he's been caught on
When-
the end of it, but I mean,
when you've had to come up on your own, like you've had to do all this work on your own at a very young age, especially, like it makes you a little guarded.
a lot of guarded.
A lot of guarded.
A lot of
Yeah,
guarded.
yeah.
And it's like I just try to think about, like, every step forward is closer to the goal than it was yesterday.
And find your people. Like your people are gonna fit in the palm of your hand. Like you don't have to have a million people. You have to have your people. Maybe 2 hands.
Maybe 2 hands.
Maybe 2
Because
hands.
I've just, I'm not gonna say collected, but for lack of a better term,
You do.
I've been adopted by so
Yeah.
many people in the community.
Yeah.
who-
Well, you're my bus kid.
who-
now.
But even though I've been so
yeah.
up and down, flaky there,
Yeah,
not there,
and that's fine too.
they've still remained very loyal, and they've believed in me and been so encouraging.
Yeah.
And that just,
I
I need friends.
I
I
can't tell
love
you-
my friends.
I can't tell you when I walk away from somebody. I can't tell you how tall they are. I can't tell you their weight. Maybe their eye color. Maybe. But I can tell you if they're genuine within 2 minutes. So you're in my pocket now.
Yay! I'm pocket sized. It works. So I think I can. You want to do 2 more?
You can. Mhm.
Okay. Well, for the viewers, listeners, talked a lot about my childhood here and there. I played this song at open mic.
Mhm.
Playing this song for my mom was both the most liberating and terrifying thing in the
It
world.
was beautiful. Just the way the whole crowd was in it. Like the whole crowd was like,
Because the whole crowd knew.
mm,
They had known me since I was, I mean, that crowd was crazy. I had my middle school art teacher who had never heard me perform. I went to middle school in Savannah, so, like, I mean, the fact that she lives, like, right around the corner from Mad Life, she never heard me perform. That was before I ever picked up a guitar. I was just a chorus kid then.
wow.
There are people who worked with me at my first job when I was, like, 15.
Wow.
There are people who I had just met this year who had never heard me perform. I mean, that was just such a huge crowd of
It was
people who had known me throughout these different chapters of my life, who knew,
It was your collective night.
yeah, it was so amazing. And my mom was there, and
Yeah.
my mom, she doesn't live up here anymore. She's also really hard of hearing, so even if she does, like, come out to shows, it's really hard for her to come to a show where the sound is so clear that she can hear what I'm saying, which sometimes, depending on
Sometimes
the
maybe
nature
that's
of the
not a
song,
good
that's-
thing. Maybe,
Yeah.
Like, Mama, do this.
No, I really felt like I needed to do that, because up
Good for
until
you.
that night,
Good for you.
I didn't even know she was coming, for sure. And
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to play this song, but
It's all good.
there was some guilt. There was
It's
a
all
little.
good. No,
there's
it's all good.
There's a little guilt.
Because my other thing is open your mouth. Like when you hold things in, that's when it gets dangerous. So whether it's coming out here or on stage, open your
Well,
mouth.
that's what I told her. I was like, look,
And then you can go on.
I was like, you can either have me sing it pretty, or you can have me yell it ugly. Because it's gonna come out.
It's going to come out good for you.
I told
Good
her,
for you.
I was like,
Good for you.
I don't feel
That's
it.
beautiful.
It's like I don't feel angry or resentment
No, no.
anymore because
No.
I've,
It's you've released it.
yeah.
But it's yours.
But
it's yours.
But it's mine
It's yours. Good for
to
you.
do whatever I want with
Good
it.
for you. I wish so many more people would do that.
I really didn't know if I was gonna do it that night. I was
Yeah.
really nervous.
I really wish.
She took a really long smoke break afterwards too.
Did
I was
she?
like,
That's okay though, because I'm a mom too. Like I'm a daughter, but I'm a mom, so I understand that. I understand both sides of that.
yeah. But yeah, so this is shoes. This is about
Yes.
yeah. and
Tell the little snippet.
Yeah,
About-
so it really is about a pair of shoes that I used to wear to gigs when I was young, so 13, 14, 15.
Mhm.
My mom is T90. I'm pretty petite, but she's really tiny. Her feet are tiny. Everything's tiny. But my dad had bought her these boots when they were dating. They're not together. They never were married or anything. These like cool Cole Haan, like probably the nicest boots I'm ever
gonna have on your feet.
But they did not fit. They were too small. I would literally hurt myself trying to get into these shoes, and then I would wear them for like 5-6 hours, and then I couldn't take them off by myself. Like, they were so small, but they look good.
Oh yeah.
And I was looking at pictures of myself from then, and that was the most like miserable time of my life. Those first
But
like
to look at it in the picture, you're like,
was just very like, man, I wore those ill-fitting boots
such a metaphor. It is such
very
a metaphor.
well.
It is the metaphor of all metaphors. Like,
but like they were very hard to take off. So the expectations were very hard to take off. The image that I knew my mom had of me, my dad had of me, and all these other people that really didn't know anything about me, but claimed they did. That was really hard. It still is very hard. But this song was a little angsty, like.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Get it. Get it. Thank you.
Squeezing my feet in the shoes that don't fit, and wondering where the hell I can't move. Oh, I got them from my mama, along with all the trauma, trying to figure out the kind of running I want to do. Do I run away from love the way everyone does, or at least the ones I love another floor falling through? They all call me resilient, my mother called me brilliant. What I needed was consistency. Disappointment comes in twos. Give my dad an ovation for all his inspiration. All the songs about fixing something ruined by the booze. I get they're only human and that everyone is hurting, but that doesn't make it easy when it comes to working through the nature that you gave me. The nurturing that raised me made it difficult to say I would never blame you. So I'll be me and you be you. I'll take the parts of you that suit me just fine. I love the way you dress and the way you drink your wine, but I think I'll leave the rest. I don't think that's my crime, like loving you in spite of you. God, what were they thinking? They must have been drinking when they thought creating humans was a thing that they should do. I'm not here to fix your problems. You probably should have solved them before doing the same thing that both your mamas did to you. If I could go back in time, wrap my arms around you, say take deep breaths and do what feels right. But don't cover up your feelings with temporary healing. They ain't doing any healing, just creating dynamite. So I'll be me and you be you. I'll take the parts of you that suit me just fine. I love the way you dress and the way you drink your wine, but I think I'll leave the rest. I don't think that's my crime, like loving you in spite of you. Emotionally burden my own heart with the notion I could do it anyhow. I gotta live my life, break a curse, and maybe smile when I'm done feeling wild from all the ones who let me down. So I'll be me and you be you. I'll take the parts of you that suit me just fine. I love the way you dress and the way you drink your wine, but I think I'll leave the rest. I don't think that's my crime, like loving you. Not my crime, like loving you in spite of you. Oh, like loving you
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's not only is that going on, like that's going on my songwriter playlist. Like it's reserved for the best, like the people that just make me like. That wasn't just cold. That was Cold Chills all over. That's going on my songwriter playlist.
And that means so much to hear. It's just, it's like when I close my eyes and I sing and then I open them, it's like two different people.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even believe that people love it as much as they do, because it's just. It's just me. Like, I'm such I'm such a goofball.
But that's cool though, because you're stepping into this thing, and this beautiful thing here can help fix somebody else. And it's not your responsibility. It is never ever your responsibility to fix anybody else. But if they can hear your words and go,
I mean, I know I'm not the only person that's gone through that. I mean, it's a very relatable topic. I mean, a lot of it's very specific to me.
But no, just the metaphor of it, like in your shoes, like the whole, and how you just have to take them off.
Yeah.
And that line, like, I love you in spite of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like, I love my parents. I love what they've given me, but.
Yeah, my mom is like a little precocious 7-year-old girl right now with her dementia, and everybody loves her. And she was never a bad mother, but there was a lot of that. I was just expected to be grown.
Yeah.
I was the youngest. She was
Fend
tired.
For yourself.
I was 13. My brother was 17, and I was just, if I was with him, I was fine, and I really was not.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
A lot of where that comes from is like, I was my mom's only kid, and she was a single mom for a lot of my childhood. And so when she was low, which sometimes when she was high, it was great, everything was fine, but when she was low, the bills weren't paid, and she was sad, and I picked up the slack.
You had to. And I'm a little guilty of that part, being on the other end of that. Like, my youngest daughter, sometimes I would catch myself like telling her things that I didn't need to be telling her. Like, she was a child, but she's such an old soul.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, I would put more on her.
Well, and it's like, I wouldn't want to be any other way, really. And I wouldn't have it any other way, like, this time. And that's what is, I love you in spite of you, because there are parts of you that I love, but then there are also parts of what she wanted for me that were not compatible and maybe not the most responsible decision. Like, I think, oh my God, my daughter's so talented, I'm going to pull her out of school and make all of her dreams come true. Like, that was a bit far-fetched, Brenda. Like, you're really biting off more than you could chew. Could you just pay the light bill?
Maybe just pay the power bill this week. We'll look at Nashville next week.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like good intention.
And I get it on both sides.
Yeah, my dad and I have a complicated relationship. They're both addicts. They both struggle with addiction.
And there's a lot of that in this too. Whether if it's the musician themselves or you know, I was talking about the other little girl that wrote that song that was so powerful, and it was about like addiction and then death. Like, it's a whole lot to carry.
I mean, there's a lot of what I've carried in my childhood that comes out in my writing. I mean, the language is very like, even some of the language is very AA, higher power, like growing up in the church.
Yep.
There's a lot of things about baptism and like being reborn and going underwater and coming up from the I mean, that there's going to be a lot of stuff like that on the album that no one's even heard before, because I've written a lot of music on the piano. And it's very, so I play the piano as well, but I don't bring an electric piano
typically
to
carry a piano around.
I'm not going to bring 2 guitars and a piano to an open mic. That's silly.
Yeah. That's silly. But if there was a piano there, that'd be cool.
For sure.
Because I know.
Yeah. I can definitely wail and play on the piano, and there's a lot of music that touches on that in a lot more personal. Like, I find the piano.
We're gonna do it. I can't wait to share this, but we're gonna do a Hannah deep dive, because Matt and I, like, when we knew each other in elementary school, but like when we re-met, I was like, my favorite thing in the world is for somebody to give me a song. My Matt playlist is almost 2,000 songs now.
Yes.
But then here's this bus, so like it's continuous. This music between us, like, just pass music back and forth. So we're gonna do a Hannah deep dive.
And to be in a space where it's so appreciated is so special. More special than people would realize.
We're just like, I can't believe people just come and sit down and play music for us.
so
Especially
awesome.
originals. Like, if you come play me your original song or cover better than original, that's a whole nother playlist. Cover better than original. Like, thank you. Like, what did I do to get this? Thank you.
I mean, you facilitated it. And you were so dang sweet. And she gave me stickers.
so many stickers. So the last song I guess I'll play is Waiting Room. I played this and this is the song I wrote after I won Eddie's Attic.
Okay.
So this was, to me, that whole night, and this song felt like a huge turning point. You know, it wasn't like the last turning point.
Yeah.
But I still play this song
There's
now.
curves.
I still play this song now, and I just remember, like, I can still feel
that feeling?
that euphoria.
Oh wow.
When I wrote it.
That's so cool when music, because it's a time machine. There's an Avett Brothers song that's I'm a living, breathing time machine.
Yeah.
That's what music does. It carries you.
And this song's also developed and come a long way since I wrote it. But it's called Waiting Room. Just let the lyrics do what it does. Sat here frustrated, stuck in my own way. I see the brightness of tomorrow. Is there a ladder I can borrow to set all these feelings in flame? Well, I've been waiting for a change. Oh, won't you come down and put your hands on me and make me change? Well, I've been waiting for a change. Lord, won't you come down and put your hands on me and make me change? Oh Lord, won't you forgive me? I've had a bit too much to drink tonight. It don't take much these days. I smoke more than I'd like, but I lift my hands up higher, hungry with desire, a soul that could stand to be saved. Oh, I've been waiting for a change. Oh, would you come down, put your hands on me and make me change? Well, I've been waiting for a change. Oh, won't you come down and put your hands on me and make me feel safe? 'Cause oh, I've been waiting for a change. Lord, I've been waiting for a change. The road is so long, so many songs to sing. Hours go by, I'm out of my mind, but I'm okay. So hand me pills to swallow and a Bible I can borrow. Let me just float on my way. Hey, hey, I've been waiting for a change. Oh, would you come down and put your hands on me and make me change? Oh, I've been waiting for a change. Oh, won't you come down and put your hands on me and make me feel safe? 'Cause oh, I've been waiting for a change. Lord, I've been
And your voice hits my soul. Your voice just rattles me.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
oh, thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
You're gonna make me
Thanks
cry.
for making me cry. It's good. It's all good. Hannah Murphy. Thank you.
Thank you.